Going back to the principle living, you mentioned all this list of items to be aware of, being equal and one, two, in every moment. How can we practically go through our day with that in mind?
What we found is fascinating is that it's not going to be possible for any one being to make a difference in any way whatsoever in the world. It's going to be all beings as one, meaning as individuals, that will have to become an anomaly to the system, that will have to challenge the system. Within that, you have to consider that you can do only that which you can do physically, practically, in and as you are breathing, because that is your true reality. Within that, you have to consider what systems within this world is not supporting life one and equal. The primary one is the money system. For any change to be possible in the world, the money system will have to change. The money system will have to be that which considers life. The money system will be continuing with its crashing. As we have said, close on 1.5 years ago, the money system will be crashing, and it will continue to crash. They still don't understand the problem that actually exists within it. They will never understand it. The problem is inherent in the dishonesty of the capitalist system. The capitalist system is inherently dishonest. It is inherently based on the abuse of life for the interest of few. That means the abuse of the labor of many and the resources of many, so that just a few benefit. We're going to have a sound problem.
Oh, that's Zachy. Yeah. All right, so we herded the dogs off to another location.
So, what is that in this world that controls everyone's life? It is money. And how it controls your life is through a fascinating principle. It is actually not only controlling the physical, it's also controlling the metaphysical. Money in the metaphysical is energy. Energy in the physical is simply represented by money as an actual container that moves and is an exchange between beings.
Right.
So in the physical, you are experiencing yourself both as physical, with physical energy, and as metaphysical, which is mind energy. That mind energy that you create in the physical, that means that idea of yourself, that persona, which becomes your essence from which you act, is what will remain when you die, which is very limited. Just that persona, that idea of what you acted from, which is not a physical actual thought. It is an accepted idea of who you are, which you use to recreate yourself from the physical into the metaphysical. Thus, when the body dies, which is the carrier of that reflection of yourself, as your idea of yourself, which you are living out within your habits, your participations, and the way you act in the world. That is the part that will be you in the afterlife, in the metaphysical.
Does that entity change from say, like before you were
You
born?
cannot remember when you reach the afterlife any of your previous lives. You cannot remember where you come from. You cannot find your origin. All of that was countered through the soul construct. The soul construct, or the Akashic record, was the place where all the records of the past lives were kept. Ever wondered why? Because you couldn't remember it. So therefore it was kept in a library. And that library was the Akashic record. there you could access and go and have a look at your past lives, but you could not remember them. So the soul construct was a recording system. It was centered in the solar plexus, where your life as you were going through it were recorded. When you died, the soul construct, or that recording device with the recording, was placed in the Akashic record, so that you could later do what is called life review, so that you can have a look in your next life. Could you improve on yourself? Who has you become? Things like that.
The very point of you not being able to remember and having to actually record your experiences would imply that whatever you experienced in your life was not real, because it wasn't an actual self experience. If it were a self experience, it would have been here as an actual remembrance, not just as knowledge and information that has to be recorded and kept in a separate manifested construct.
If we take Kiran here, and Kiran died about 3 years ago now,
Yeah.
so approximately. He died after the portal was already opened, and he came through there, and he was linked to myself through Cerise. So what remained of Kiran from his past life? He had a particular, he was a naughty fucker. I mean, he had a naughty life. He had all the money you could dream of everything. But he had something that was working for him in this world. He was assertive. That assertiveness in his expression, that like definitive assertiveness, that remained.
That was it. That point of this is what I want, and actually do it and get it done immediately in its effectiveness and specificity. That's it.
That's what remained from my life.
Just that one expression.
Do you recall the other parts of you, or it's just not?
That's the only point that I lived. That was a self.
That was
experience.
the point around which every moment turned. If anything happens in a moment, he would come from that point.
That assertiveness.
That assertiveness, that remained. That is who he is now. The rest is gone
Yeah, it's non-existent.
at the moment of death. And because by the time he came through, the soul construct was still there, but he did not go through it. So his soul construct was not placed even in the, and it was deleted anyway. Because
Yeah, that time was gone already.
I mean, didn't they, the white light or whatever is in charge of that, didn't they like come after you to get the?
It was already taken out at that stage. Yeah.
no, not yet.
No.
The demon dimension was still operational.
Yeah.
You know, he went a different path.
Yeah,
he
I
went
went a
into the
different
room
route.
thing,
Yeah. To containment.
into a containment
And
where
when
you
you're in a
awaited.
Yeah, when you're in a containment, you're not seen as a threat.
So he was immediately in
white light.
containment. Therefore, he was not a threat to heaven.
Yeah, because you're contained.
And then out of containment, he came through the portal straight. So he was for 3 weeks in containment from death to the first time through the portal.
Yeah.
So
Did you understand what was happening?
In the containment, no.
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
It was such a short experience. It wasn't an experience of 3 weeks of time, which is
well,
fascinating.
time is not experienced in the metaphysical.
To me, it was, I died, I went into containment, I came to Earth, I came through the portal.
There was 3 events.
Wow.
Event. But it was not time-based.
No, I didn't know 3 weeks had passed.
Time, remember, is directly linked to the mind consciousness system
Absolutely. In the physical.
in the physical. It is not something that is actually existing in the metaphysical.
No.
So only the main point of your self-directive principle remains.
If there was nothing that you lived per se, there was nothing that made you stand out as a presence within this reality in the physical. When you die, you'll be like nothing.
And that happens.
A lot. A
Often.
lot of beings is like nothing.
You either have nothing or but 1 or 2 points.